Welcome to the Undisputed Podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so Skip, Shannon, let's get to it.
Good morning. Welcome to Undisputed. I'm Jenny Taft with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Guys, how we doing today?
Not too well.
Not too well. Hold on. Update from the control room. The Lakers just missed another three down in Orlando. They are the Orlando Tragic now. I don't know what happened.
Okay, keep that in.
Yeah.
Keep that in about another week.
Here we go. It's a good day here on Undisputed.
I got a couple tough ones for you, Shannon. I don't know if you're going to handle this. We'll have to see about it.
Bad for us.
All right, guys, I'm going to get right to it because yesterday President Trump said that he would not be watching NBA games after seeing players kneeling during the national anthem. When asked about the president's comments, LeBron replied with, quote, "I really don't think the basketball community is sad about losing his viewership, and that's all I got to say." LeBron added that he's not going to get into it because he knows where it could lead to for him. So, Shannon, do you like LeBron's response here?
I do. Skip, look, we know what President Trump is trying to do, but I just need to know one thing. Skip, are we sticking to sports or are we going politics? I thought we were supposed to do one or the other, because that's what they tell you and I, Skip. They say, stick to sports. I turn you guys on to hear sports. Yeah. Well, I thought we elected him to talk politics. But he seems to turn everything into politics, whether it's sports, whether it's about wearing a mask, so everything's become political. Skip, I do like what LeBron had to say, and I don't think the basketball community is going to miss President Trump. Look, Skip, LeBron James has made it abundantly clear how he feels about this president. The president has made it abundantly clear in 2017 how he feels about the black athlete that kneels during the anthem. He's made it clear. But you have to understand, President Trump is doing this. So no matter how you look at it, Skip, is his approval rating in the tank or is his disapproval rating so high? Whichever the case may be, that's what he's trying to do. And he knows one thing. What will rouse his base? What red meat can he feed his base to get them energized about the election? Because his disapproval rating is sky high. And he understands, I got to get him out. I got to turn him out. You know, he's always trying to suppress the vote. Well, you know, Florida and Arizona, you guys send your ballots in. Everybody else, you need to go wait 12, 15 hours during the pandemic and vote, knowing that blacks are, you know, disproportionately at a disadvantage, so are other minorities about during this pandemic about getting this COVID. So, Skip, I'm not surprised that President Trump has done this because he knows it gets his base going. Because what did he do, Skip? When he strolled down that escalator, he didn't mention anything about infrastructure. He didn't mention anything about the economy. What was the very first words out of his mouth? Mexico are sending us their worst. Rapists, murderers, and drug dealers. So he planted that seed right there, right then. So I am not surprised. I'm not surprised that LeBron took this approach. Doc Rivers says, look, hey, we can fix this problem. I mean, basically, in a nutshell, I think he pointed to his shirt or his hat. Vote. That's what LeBron initiative is, vote. Somebody's doing something you don't like and they hold a political office and they got there by the voting process, you don't like what they're doing, vote their butt out of office.
Doc Rivers, yesterday, vote.
Yeah, Doc, that's
vote.
Exactly. So this is what this is about, Skip. He's trying to get his base energized again. He's flailing, Skip. His campaign, the polls show, and even though the polls are showing it, we're still going out. We're turning out in droves. Young people, we're turning out in droves because things are not right. And he's handled this pandemic poorly. He's handled race relationships. Skip, this is about this is back to, we're in 2020, and the race relationship is getting even deeper. The wealth disparity between blacks and white is getting greater. And he knows that, and so, hey, let me see what I can do. What can I get them to distract from the pandemic that we got almost 60,000 people, and they say maybe by the end of the year we'll have 300,000. What can I get them distracted with? Oh, yeah, the anthem. You ain't nobody talking about no anthem. Here he goes again.
Yep. I hear everything you just said. I'm about to tell you why I did not love what LeBron said last night. I didn't love that he said one word about this last night. To your point, I have been talking sports on television for a long time, television and radio.
Yes.
And I was taught from the start, as were you, do not mix politics and sports on air. You are there to talk sports. So I have always fought against and guarded against letting any kind of politics leak into a sports discussion.
Or religion in there, too.
Or religion, or anything other than sports.
Correct.
Right? So I love talking sports. I live for sports. You're much more into politics than I am, so it's probably easier for me than it is for you.
Right.
But I have found myself in the last, 4, 5, 6 months talking more politics than I ever imagined were even in my brain and in my soul and in my heart on television.
Correct.
And that is because our president keeps throwing that door open and talking about sports and combining politics and sports.
Correct.
And interjecting politics into sports.
Right.
Maybe that's a great thing in the big picture, because it all started when this quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers decided, first of all, I'm going to sit for the anthem.
Right.
And then he decided, no, I'm going to kneel for the anthem. And at first, I didn't get it. And then as I began to listen to what he was saying, it hit me right in the heart. He's right. This is the way to get everybody's attention to deal with an issue that has long been left undealt with.
Correct.
And it's only getting worse. And you know what it is, obviously, the murdering of black men and women unarmed by white policemen. Okay, so we are now, I hope, confronting that issue. But the president will not acknowledge that issue.
Right.
He always makes it, do not disrespect that flag.
Country.
Okay, it's your country. It's how he got elected in 2016. What was his campaign slogan? It's Make America Great Again. Love and respect our flag. And so Colin Kaepernick actually played right into the president's hands in a weird way, because the president could then use that as his campaign motto. The driving force of his campaign was to appeal to that segment of our population who does love that flag. And I love all of them for loving it.
Yep.
But there was a reason, there was a method to what Colin Kaepernick was doing, and he loves the flag too.
Right.
He loves our country too. But unfortunately, our country hasn't loved him and his community enough to protect it from white policemen. Okay, so we get all that.
Correct.
So I was watching live as LeBron down in the bubble was speaking with his mask on. And as soon, it was about the 6th or 8th question. It might have been the last question. And all of a sudden, he's asked about yet another salvo from our president, which happened yesterday morning.
Right.
In which I believe, I'm going to paraphrase this a bit, but I believe our president said, I have done more for the black community than any president since Abraham Lincoln.
He keeps perpetuating that lie.
Okay,
That's a lie.
Okay, but he said that. So that was part of the question that was proposed to LeBron. And I'm sure that part of the question just hit his deepest hot button.
Right.
Okay. So he paused for a second, and you could see his mind working. Should I? Should I? Should I? And then he began to speak out loud about should I or shouldn't I? And he said, I don't know about this. He says, I already know where this could go, where it could lead to for tomorrow for me. I'm not going to get into that, because he realizes that if he fires back, then it's likely that our president today will then fire back at LeBron via Twitter or whatever, maybe in an interview, right?
Right.
Because he needs LeBron to fire back.
Correct.
He needs him to acknowledge and to give credibility to what he said by responding to it. You are just, unfortunately, fueling his fire.
Correct.
So in the back of my mind, I'm saying, as I'm watching live, just don't do it. Because I know what LeBron James thinks of our president.
Right.
He once called him a bum.
A bum.
He called him our so-called president.
Right.
Okay? So I don't need him to reiterate that. I know. Shannon Sharpe knows deep down what LeBron thinks of Donald Trump.
Right.
Correct?
Yes.
But he just couldn't stop because of the Abraham Lincoln comparison. And it's like, I can't. And so he sort of stuck toe in water.
Right.
And then the water felt good. It felt warm, and it started to heat up. And then he got rolling, and he began to feed off himself, and it was great. And he went on to say, I think our game is a beautiful game right now. It's in a beautiful position, and it is. And the truth is, our president often exaggerates what ratings are, and he said that ratings are down in the NBA. Well, they have been for the whole regular season, but in the bubble, they started off with a bang.
Right.
Now they've calmed down a bit because the games are being played in the morning. We got Zion playing this morning at 10:30 Pacific time.
Yeah.
So it's a morning game. Well, you're going to have a hard time getting a big number off that game.
Even though some people are still at home, they're still
that's
working.
True. No, that's true.
Skip,
they are still
they got to work.
But you're not going to get a primetime number off that game.
Right.
Okay. So LeBron starts to roll on this, and he does get into voting, and he does get into how November is right around the corner, and it's a big moment for us as Americans.
Yes.
Okay, way to go. But the game will go on without his eyes on it, and he winds up saying, I could care less. The truth is, the way you should say it is, I could not care less.
Right.
But people understand, I could care less about that, what that means.
Yes.
Okay, bang, love it. But I don't love the impact of it because you might just be refueling his fan base. Because we talked yesterday about the Jonathan Isaac syndrome, and we kicked around the potential reasons for Jonathan Isaac's jersey flying up the charts to #2 in sales. Jonathan Isaac, these people buying his jersey didn't even know who he was until maybe...
What school he went to?
Right, nothing. They would know nothing about Jonathan Isaac. He wears #1 for the Orlando Magic, and all of a sudden that Magic #1 jersey went kaboom up to the top, second only to your man LeBron James.
Because Skip, he's always been in Orlando. It's not like all of a sudden, like, oh, he's playing for the Magic now.
Okay.
He's been in Orlando for a year or two.
Why did that happen? Is it possible that a whole lot of Trump supporters or Patriots flag supporters just said, thank you, young man, thank you for that? Because he was the one and only black player who said, no, I'm not going to kneel. I'm not going to wear Black Lives Matter because I'm putting words in his mouth, but he's an ordained minister. And for religious reasons, he said, no, I don't need to do that. That the gospel says, the Bible, all lives matter. So he went with a phrase that you don't love, and a lot of people who love Black Lives Matter, who are into the movement, obviously, don't. Right now, Black lives should matter the most because that's the issue at hand. But he went with all lives matter. So maybe a lot of religious people, no matter what sect you're in, maybe they said, okay, I love that. I love that. You kneel only before God. And whatever reasons, these are probably a large part of the constituency that voted for Donald Trump in November of 2016, right? Yeah. So it probably appealed to a lot of those people, and they're like, I'll buy the jersey. Will they wear it? Maybe. Are we going to start seeing #1s everywhere?
I doubt it.
Doubt it.
Skip, the thing is with President Trump's base is they're going to vote regardless. If you go and you listen to them when he had the rally in Tulsa and you listen at people when they do these interviews, they're going to vote for him no matter what. Because no matter what he does, it's not wrong in their eyes.
No.
Skip, he's giving them a voice. And I remember President Trump said he might be the equivalent of Dr. King. And to his base, he is, because he gives them a voice. He gives them the green light. It's okay to be blatantly and openly racist, to say whatever you feel. Because everybody said, when he becomes president, he's going to pivot. And Skip, even Abraham Lincoln, as he became president, his views evolved because there was a time that he actually thought whites were the superior race. LBJ, Skip, he did more than even Dr. did. Abraham Lincoln was the president during the war, Emancipation Proclamation and the Civil War. But it was LBJ that signed civil rights.
I agree with that.
And when they asked President Trump, do you think that the Civil Rights Act was he wrong for signing that? President Trump's response was, no, that was a great thing. How did it work out? Like it was a failure, like it shouldn't have happened.
Okay. And from what I've read about Abraham Lincoln, didn't in the end he share the view that African Americans should maybe be shipped back to Africa so we could sort of start over and they could go back to where they're from?
Yes.
Okay.
He evolved, Skip. He evolved. Yes, he was fought the war for to end slavery, but LBJ had a big part. LBJ was staunch at one point in time, but he evolved.
A man from Texas.
Skip, and everybody kept saying, well, once candidate Trump becomes president, he's going to pivot. Skip,
Well, again, from what I read, did not a large number of black people vote for Donald Trump in 2016?
The largest.
Okay.
More than voted for Romney, than the Bushes. Yes, they absolutely did. Because you know what, Skip, you know what he said? You've been trying it this way for the last 20 years. What do you have to lose? Okay, black people, now you know what you got to lose. You could possibly lose your life. You could lose your health care. You could lose your dignity. You know, I don't know. What does that work to you?
Okay. So here's my final irony to this discussion. This is just me from a distance, my 2 cents. I ask you a question.
Yes.
How many NBA games do you think Donald Trump in his life has watched from start to finish? Is it possible not one?
Probably not one. How many games have they actually watched? Maybe 5?
Maybe 5. He doesn't strike me as the kind of man who would sit down to watch a National Basketball Association game, because what has been the sort of cliche, stereotypical, if you want to go racist view of the NBA, it's majority black. They don't play. They make too much money. They don't play hard until the last 2 minutes. And I speak from the position of a white man. I have been in love with the NBA since I was a little kid, since it really came into being. So, but I've known a lot of people who viewed this as sort of the black man's game. And so at heart, is Donald Trump an NBA fan?
No.
No. Would he be much more likely to watch football or baseball? You better believe it.
Skip, I think the thing is, here's the thing, and there's no secret that President Trump's attention span is like a 5-year-old. So for him to sit down and do anything, Skip, they say when they give him the briefings, they have to give it to him in a slide form. Not reading, they got to give him material like he's a child, to give him the graphs and things of that nature to keep him engaged, or else he just drifts off. You listen to him talk. They go up there, we're going to talk infrastructure, and the next thing you know, he's talking about China, and he's talking about this, and he's talking about that. And when he goes in his briefings to talk about the coronavirus and give us an update, he's somewhere else. So do I think do I believe he sat down and watched anything in its entirety? No, because that's not his attention span.
But I will say this for him. He is a shrewd operator when it comes to remobilizing his fan base.
Yeah.
If his disapproval rating is sky high, as you say,
yes,
these are shrewd plays by him.
Right.
This is a smart play. This is exactly what he should be doing right now. Take a shot at the NBA, hoping that the most powerful voice in all of sports belonging to that man, number 23. Does anybody, has any athlete in the history of sports had a bigger platform than this man?
No.
It's not even close.
Because he had the advent of social media.
That's what I'm saying.
You know, you had Jordan, Jordan was global. So Ali became a beloved figure. Skip, I believe it was the 96 Olympics when he tried to light the torch and we saw him all of a sudden.
Yeah, I got that.
And his frailty that he became.
I'm talking about a voice.
No.
On what's he got, like a combined, I don't know what it is, 30 million followers.
Well, no, he's probably 60 million on IG alone.
Oh,
probably,
is he over 60?
Probably another, 25, 30 million.
Okay.
So he's over 100
let's
million.
do 100 million.
Yes.
So when he speaks, the power of that voice can resonate worldwide.
Right.
And I think Donald Trump is shrewd enough of an operator to say, I need him to fire back at me because it brings me back into the national spotlight, right? And it helps me remobilize my constituency.
President Trump understands, he knows, Skip, what gets his base going. These Confederate monuments, let's talk about them. They're trying to take our heritage. Take these Confederate generals' names off the bases. That gets my base going. Talking about the anthem, talking about country, talking about military, that gets my base going. He understands that, so he plays to his base. He believes, and Skip, and it was his base, they are passionate, but they're not big, they're passionate. The question is...
Well, you sure they're not big?
Well, I think, Skip, I think there's a lot of...
They were bigger than a lot of people thought in 2016.
They were, and they underestimated him, and I don't think they're making that mistake this time. I think the thing is, Skip, is that a lot of people, what happened was, they said when they polled, are you voting for President Trump? No, I ain't going to vote for him. And guess what happened, Skip? They went that little ballot box in.
Okay.
So you got to be careful. So we're not underestimating him this time. And the thing is, these Southern, how they do it, Skip? They blue collar, because when black votes, it's just one vote. We black. Whites, they got college educated. They got suburban. They got non-educated, Skip. They got working class. They got middle class. But we ain't got nothing. We just got a black vote. You see how they do that, Skip? We ain't got nothing. We just a black vote. White people commit crime, it ain't never white on white. Black is black on black crime. White people kill white people too. 87%, that's what the study shows.
Okay.
But we understand what President Trump's doing. Skip, it's just hard for him to and I know you didn't want LeBron to say anything, but it's hard when somebody just constantly,
I know,
just
I got
constantly,
it.
just
I got
constantly.
It. But the shrewd move, the shrewdest move for 23 last night when he was asked that question, shrug and say, I don't pay any attention to him anymore. Right. Do that. Undercut his credibility as far as visibility, right?
Because President Trump is good at that. Well, I don't know, because they asked him about John Lewis. Well, there was a lot of people. John Lewis was what, Dr. King? And he was one of the last ones, Skip, that almost lost his life, that was fighting to the very last very last breath to get voting rights, to get blacks brought up, and to say, well, I didn't even know who John Lewis was. I know he didn't come to my inauguration. I know he didn't come to none of my State of the Union. Well, Skip, if you don't know somebody, how do you know if you have an event? You don't know who they are. How do you know if they're in attendance or not?
I don't know.
Okay.
All I know is that man got elected in 2016.
Yes, and you're not careful, he'll get reelected.
That is correct. And there's one way to stop that, and that is to vote.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, and we need to keep Kanye out of this mix, because Kanye is a double agent. Well, he ain't even a double agent. Kanye's made no secret. He's a big President Trump fan. All he's trying to do is siphon off black votes. And I'm not saying every black in America should vote for or are going to vote for Vice President Biden. But I know what Kanye West is trying to do. He's trying to steal some of the black vote, like a third-party candidate that was in last election, 2016. That was just enough to get the college to move towards President Trump.
Okay.
I know what he's trying to do.
Are we sure Kanye's in his right mind? Are we sure?
They don't care.
Okay.
Hell, we don't think the other guy was in his right mind either when he got elected.
Well,
think about everything that all the candidates said against him, from Lindsey Graham to Marco Rubio to Rand Paul, every last one of them said he's a xenophobe, he's narcissistic, he's all these, he's a racist. And not every last one of them lined up behind him, lock, step, and barrel. Lindsey Graham, number one. And don't forget about old Tim Scott, too. Tim Scott, you know, all skin folk ain't kin folk. But anyway, Skip, they lock, step, and barrel after they said everything about him in the book. So now he ain't racist. Now he's the president, he ain't racist anymore.
I would just warn you, do not underestimate that man.
Oh, no, I'm not. Skip, I just saw the poll. 50% of white America said if the election was today, they would vote for President Trump. 50%. Even though, given what we got going on, almost 160,000 dead. Almost 5 million people, in fact, with COVID, had COVID. And they still, look at the economy, they still. Racism is a thriving business, Skip.
No mercy. After clinching the #1 seed in the West, the Lakers came out flat against the Thunder in a 105-86 loss last night. LeBron was the only Lakers starter to hit double-digit points with 19, and the 86 points was a season low for LA. The Lakers also only shot 13% from three and just 35% overall. It was also the only game all season the Lakers never had a lead. Shannon, there is a lot there. Can you find anything good to say about this performance?
No, it was awful, and the only reason I continue to watch it because I know we were going to have to talk about it, but I could tell within the first...
So without this show, you would have turned it off?
Oh, absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
I thought you were a Laker.
No, but that Skip. I know after the first 3 minutes, I said they on some bull jive.
I knew after the first minute.
Skip, I text Steve, I said they on some bull jive tonight. I said, man, but Skip, you can just, look, they got 6, 7 guys that's shooting under 30% from the three. Skip, I can live with that. This will make a miss league. But what I can't live with is effort. You tell me that's maximum effort. If the Lakers can look themselves in the mirror and say, you know what, man, I gave it everything I had. Come on, Skip. And I get it, you know, these games don't matter. But I've never been one to subscribe that, I can just flip a switch and just go, all of a sudden the ball's just going to start going in. Doesn't work like that. It really doesn't. Skip, how you go from you were leading the league in field goal percentage to dead last? You're down 10 points in 3-point. You were shooting 35.
You're talking about dead last in the bubble.
In the bubble, in field goal percentage.
Right, I got it.
You weren't leading the league.
Yep.
Now you dead last.
Okay.
Okay, you're down 10% from the 3-point line, from 35 to 25.
And you're definitely dead last from three.
Oh, we're not even close.
Yeah.
We're not even close.
You're 25%.
It was, Skip, the inconsistency is what's so frustrating. How does AD in 2 wins gets 47 shots and in 2 losses get 18? I mean, think about it. AD in 2 losses has 18 shots. He took 14 the game before in the first quarter. I just don't. I don't know what you're holding back. Everybody knows. Look, you're gonna run the same thing. I mean, you're not getting away from what you're doing. What team's gonna do? Try to build a wall, keep LeBron out the paint, make other guys beat him. Danny Green, at some point in time, you have to make a shot. KCP, Caruso, Dion, JR, you're going to have to make shots. As simple as that.
Dion, to his credit, did heat up late. I don't know if you're still watching at that point.
I watched a little bit. It was too late, yeah. But I watched a lot of hit side of the backboard on three-point attempts from a lot of different people. And Skip Caruso, maybe it's the pressure or the expectation because now he's first off the bench because it used to be Rondo. But he's turned into a turnover machine and a fouling machine.
Now, he will give you every last ounce. He'll play hard.
Yeah.
He'll dive.
But when did he turn into Jack Haley? When did he turn into the hatchet guy just fouling people left and right? He gets 4 or 5 fouls with the quickness.
He can hack.
I'm like, dude. But Skip, this was an awful performance. There ain't no way, I'm not going to say, well, hey, they didn't care, wait till the playoffs. No. You can't play like that. You can't have this kind of ebb. Skip, if you playing hard, and you lose a game, that happens. Ain't nobody expecting, to go 82-0 or you go 8-0 in the bubble. Teams are playing hard because a lot of teams have a lot of different things. They can move their seeding. You can get into the playoffs or you can slide up. But what they've gotten, and the Lakers, even though they've won 2 games, Skip, they haven't really played that well.
Agreed.
AD has played well in 2 games.
Yep.
But that's about it. Nobody else should be writing home and like, oh, Mom, look what I did. You're like, Skip, when you're at summer camp, you're like, hey, we're having a great time, Bob. Everything is going. This ain't nothing to write home about here. This was awful.
It was. So when the game ended, I thought, should I give your team a break? Because they did clinch the game before against Utah. And I told you, they just own Utah. They like to play against Utah. They like the matchups. AD likes to just humiliate and annihilate the former Defensive Player of the Year, Rudy Gobert. But Shannon, did you see championship DNA last night?
I did not.
Did you see a bubble commitment to doing whatever it takes to go win this sprint to the finish? Are they preparing for that? If they had come out and played a quarter or 2 hard and then said, you know what, we got to turn right around and play the Rockets tomorrow night, which is tonight. 6 this time at 9 Eastern.
9 Eastern.
Yep. I'd say, okay, you gave me a flash, but from the first dribble, they were not into it, except for Caruso, and he's too into it. Like he's just flying around bashing everybody. Okay, so the big problem right now is can't make a shot. Anthony Davis said after the game, one of these nights we're going to hit 20 or 25 threes, and they well might. But Shannon.
When?
I'm looking at the whole year's regular season stats, the pre-pandemic stats plus the bubble stats. What are we seeing? They're still 23rd in three-point shooting. So they never were great in shooting.
No.
They were way below average already.
Correct.
And by the way, this can get you bite you in the playoffs. They're 28th in free throw shooting.
Yeah.
Okay, so they've never been great at either one of them. In fact, they've been way, way, way below average. They've been bad at free throws and pretty bad at three-point shooting. So
bad combination.
It's a bad combination, and that hasn't just suddenly happened in the bubble. That was happening consistently all year. And I kept telling you, the one big win that they did have over the Clippers, Avery Bradley got a rare hot hand. He's a pretty good three-point shooter, and they do miss him. He's a more dependable clutch three-point shooter, a pressure shooter, because he's been to battle on the biggest stages in the biggest moments. And you don't have him because he elected to opt out, obviously. So he's not going to be there for you. And in that one game, the third game against the Clippers, he made 6 threes, and he made 4 in the third quarter when you just took off and you never looked back, and LeBron did help close the game, but LeBron didn't score in that third quarter. So I'm looking at this saying, well, can you suddenly just flip a switch and heat back up from 3? I'm not sure you can do that. Now we're back to the story.
Well, they really never heated up as you gave the stats.
Yeah, I know.
They was never been like,
no. They're not that team. So I asked you about a story that we did a couple of days back, it has come clear that LeBron and AD have said no to shoot-arounds, which are a historical tradition in the NBA. You get up on game day morning, and you get your butt out of bed, and if you're in the road city, which you know, obviously you have to go get on the bus and ride 20, 30 minutes sometimes to the arena to get some shots up, to go over a walk-through game plan. This is how we're going to defend, whatever we're going to do. This is a nuance to offense with little
wrinkles.
Little wrinkles that you got to put in and you install in the shoot-around. Okay, is it time for LeBron to say, enough of this? I'm going to get my butt out of bed, because the ride in the bubble to the arena, it's 5 minutes.
It's a walk, probably.
Yeah, you could probably, if you really wanted to, you could walk to the arena. So I don't think it's too much to ask your two superstars to say, you know what? If nothing else, let's change our luck. You know, let's just go and let's get up some shots in the morning. And maybe it'll help us in the evening. Because LeBron keeps changing his shoes. I don't know if you noticed again last night. He came out in the purple, and then he went purple gold at halftime. I guess to change it, he said they were slippery or whatever, but I think he's just trying to change his luck. As he did the other day against Toronto, I believe.
He had the red ones on, I think he came.
In the fourth quarter. He came with the fluorescent, whatever they are, the new ones that have not been released yet, Okay, so the point is, I think they need to shoot around, if nothing else for their own psyches, because, as you know, these things go contagious good or contagious bad. Right now, it's going contagious worst. Right? Because they just can't buy a three, and AD and LeBron combined last night to go 0 for 8 from 3, right? Okay, that won't work. So I think it's incumbent upon those two leaders to say, let's go back to doing what we've always done in our career. Let's get our big butts out of bed and go. That's what I would do.
Well, Skip, I'm with you on this one. I just believe it should just to change something. You got to change something. Okay, you're doing it like this. You're not having the success. You can still trust the process, but something, maybe you guys need to get up and see the ball go in and get the blood flowing. And LeBron had brought, and Skip, I told you this. You said LeBron needed rest. LeBron didn't need rest. LeBron was in as great a rhythm before this break as that we had seen him in. And I think the break hurt him.
I'm still not sure he could have sustained it, but we'll...
Well, I believe he could have sustained this. There would have been no problem, Skip. I mean, he was shooting it. He was letting it go. I mean, everything seemed to be flowing. And I think this hurt this team more than it hurt anybody else, because they were in a great flow. Skip, there's 7 guys, LeBron, KCP, Danny Green, Deion Waiters, Caruso, Morris, and J.R. Smith. There's 17 of 94 from the three-point line in 4 games. 17 of 94. You ain't beat nobody with that.
Okay. So here's what I think of your team. I think that in the end, LeBron badly needs his co-star to be a superstar. What did we see against Utah? He had a monster game. But one game against Utah, one monster game, does not a monster make. You got to do it routinely and consistently.
We need him to play like he's played against New Orleans. Every time he plays against New Orleans, he give you those. Okay,
so I'm seeing this shocking disparity between monster AD and the guy I call AD as in all done AD. Well, he was all done last night from the tip. What are you doing? He did not show up emotionally, psychologically, physically, and to your point, he took somehow, I don't even remember him, but he took 11 total shots. He took 14 in the first quarter against Utah, and he came out on a mission against Utah to say, watch this. From the start, get out of my way and give me that damn ball. Did he not do that?
He did, Skip. If you think about it, in his first 3 games, he was averaging about 14 free throw attempts a game. Yesterday, he shot 4.
Okay. That's just effort, energy, inspiration, whatever you want to call it. He did not care about that game. And let me demonstrate on defense how little he cared. If I could show you one play last night that caught my eye. This is 11 minutes left in the third quarter, and it's still a basketball game. It's a 9-point game at this point. Here comes Steven Adams. Wait, was that Anthony Davis, the guy people say should be Defensive Player of the Year? Anthony, what are you doing? He let Steven Adams
Euro-step him. That's 7 foot.
Euro-stepped him and laid it up right-handed off the glass. Is that the most blockable shot ever shot by a human being? Is the right-handed wrong side layup right up into your face off the glass? Off the glass, and AD didn't even try to stop it. And that's when I sat back and said, you just quit, man. You just said enough.
If I was Frank Vogel, I'd have called timeout and say, hey.
Okay, that's enough of that.
Hey, Antetokounmpo, Quinn Cook, Jared Dudley, y'all get in there because they not playing.
Hey, if Anthony Davis comes out and decides to, if he locks in and locks down, Steven Adams can't score on him. I promise you he can't score on him.
No, he ain't Euro stepping. And Skip, I've been in situations like that where, you know, we dilly-dallying around, and Mike would tell us, get the bleep off the field.
Yeah.
Y'all ain't doing nothing. Get off the field.
Get off the field. I completely agree. All right. So at some point when the playoffs start, every game he's going to have to come out on, not off, on.
Yes.
Whatever that thing is inside him. And I've told you, I'm never sure he's that guy. I'm never sure he's got killer, he's got dog in him. I'm not sure. He's obviously fabulously gifted. I saw it against Utah. I saw unstoppable. I saw an array of shooting for what do we call him, 6'10", I guess? For a 6'10" man, you just have rarely seen this. It just, it doesn't happen. You've got all those gifts in one body.
All of it.
And plus, he's strong. He's got big shoulders, you know? He's physical. Okay? And you can step out and shoot those rainbow threes, and you can shoot free throws like you're 5'11". You know, you can shoot them just sweet, high,
tremendous touch.
Right?
Put the ball on the floor, get to the basket, three-point range, can post you up. He can do it all.
He can do it all if he feels like doing it all.
But but what they're doing is that by playing like this, you give someone that's going to land in that 8 seed, you give them a lot of confidence. They're saying they can be had. Oh, they can be God. I mean,
if you watch that game, that's what you would have thought.
If you watched all the games, because Skip, Dame and CJ can go get you 50, 60 between the two of them. Okay,
especially when you don't have Avery Bradley to guard one of them. Yep.
And so you throw Nurkic in there. Melo's right now is giving you somewhere between 13 and 17 points a night. Okay.
Okay.
You play it with 5 Lakers.
Final point on your man LeBron James. Right now, the most effective weapon in his offensive arsenal to me is bulldozing. He can still bulldoze like nobody can. When he decides, he can just, we've seen him just bump people off, you know, just boom, and people are falling back.
Well, he did it last night in dunk. Remember, Skip,
then he's like, oh, thank you, boom, right? And he can get to the right hand and shoot right-handed layups like nobody in the game can still shoot them. But to your point, when they start bricking threes, all of a sudden, people start falling back into the lane. And more than I've ever seen LeBron, he is getting contested at the rim, and he's barely missing. You know, the little right-handed bunny layup becomes contested, and it rolls off the rim.
They missed a couple of lefties.
Yeah, lefties off the rim. They hang, and they trickle off the rim. Okay, I'm seeing more of that than I ever have because people are saying, well, that's what we got to stop. You know, we can't let him just bully us at the rim. And let's fall back. Let's make him bully 3 people instead of just 2 or 1.
Well, they're doing it kind of like how Giannis, but he started it because that's what they wanted to do before he developed an outside shot. Skip, we're going to build a wall. We're not going to let you just run through the lane. So we're going to make sure you see 2, 3 jerseys, maybe even 4 before you get to the rim, make you pull it back out and make somebody else beat us. But he's going to just, you know, he's just going to, I guess, the thing is with LeBron, he's like, I can't get frustrated. I still got to have confidence in Danny Green can knock that shot down. I got to have confidence these guys can knock the shot down. And then when they start knocking shots, because, Kim, if you, as the highlight show, Danny Green, there was like 20 feet between Danny Green and the nearest defender. And so they're missing wide open shots. If a few of those shots go in, now they have to stay closer to him. And so now LeBron has more space. But with these guys shooting as bad as they are, I ain't going out there to guard you. You self-checked.
Well, tonight they're going to play a team that's going to miss a whole lot of threes, but they're going to make a bunch too.
Hey, you want something on this one? You want something on this one?
No.
Since you are there bumping them, yeah, they look bad. AD, all done. Put something on it. Put some do. Let
me think about it. We got to look up the Fox Bet spread.
Ain't no spread.
Huh?
Ain't no spread.
Oh, there's definitely a spread. What are they, like 6-point favorites? 5-point favorites?
Nope. Ain't
we'll
no
know
spread.
in just a second.
They're in Houston.
Huh?
They play there in Houston.
It's tiny. It's 4.5. 1.5. Oh, 1.5.
Yeah.
Oh, boy. The Fox Bet people like those rockets.
Yeah, let your
So
boy
do
get
I.
2. Let your boy get 2 cases on it.
Uh-oh, somebody is
Let your boy get 2
I got
on it.
somebody on the run.
Let your
over
boy
there.
get 2 cases on it.
I'll think about it. We'll talk about it in just a few minutes.
Like you tell me, put your dude where your lips are.
No mercy. Amari Cooper said the expectation is that the Cowboys will become the 6th team in history to have 3 1,000-yard receivers, referring to his teammates Michael Gallup and CeeDee Lamb. This brought NFL reporter Ed Werder to question where Ezekiel Elliott's production may factor in. Zeke doesn't seem too concerned, replying with a tweet saying, "We all gonna eat. Don't try to start that messy," followed by the smiling
Look like
emoji.
I thought
I can't believe I'm explaining emojis on television. I think we know what he was insinuating there. Yeah. Shannon, will Zeke become the odd man out in Dallas?
Not if Mike McCarthy's smart, Skip. Zeke still. And Skip, that's why he was voted so high by his peers. They still believe the offense runs its best through Ezekiel Elliott. And even if he, Skip, I mean, this has been done before. I think the Cowboys. Yeah. The Colts were the last team to have 3 guys, Reggie Wayne, Marvin Harrison, Brandon Stokely, and Edgerrin still rushed for over 1,500. So it can be done. I think not the Colts. The Lions did it. Red Perriman, Herman Moore, someone else did it. It went over 1,000 also, and went for Barry went for 1,000 every year. So Skip, I wouldn't be surprised if they got for 1,000, 3,000, 1,000-yard receivers. And Zeke ran for 1,400 yards because the offense can be that dynamic. But at the end of the day, Skip, I don't care nothing about them numbers. Zeke guys already talking about numbers. I want to know, can I go 1-0 in the Super Bowl? Can I do that? You can have all those stats. That don't mean nothing. Because, 6 teams have done it. All of them had a winning record. I think 5 made the playoffs. 1 advanced to the championship game. 1 went to the Super Bowl. But at the end of the day, Skip, it's about man, these guys, man, these numbers, man. Man, I hate Madden. I hate Madden and I hate social media because Skip.
You do not hate social media.
I do.
You live on it.
I do, Skip, but I hate it because guys now, that's their value is tied to that. Because, man, you see my rating? I should have been at least 99. Dude, you had 14 catches. How should you have a 99 rating? You had 3 sacks. I should have been 90. Stop. And so in inflation, and so now guys, Skip, okay, let's say this. They get 3 1,000-yard rushers. Zeke worked for 1,400 yards, and they don't win no playoff game. They don't go to the Super Bowl. Skip, what good is that? So now you're the 17 to say you're the 17? Man, stop. Come on, guys. I want to make the playoffs. I wasn't worried about no stats. All I said, Skip, the top of my goal, let me stay healthy. Let's make the playoffs. Everything else is going. Everything in between that will take care of itself. If I got 1,000-yard double-digit touchdown, yada, 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 everything was going to fall into place. Because at the end of the day, that's how you're going to be measured. We see guys have all these big numbers. Okay, what the playoffs look like? Man, but I had no, you ain't no you. Because you're on a team. You want to have an individual success. You need to play golf or tennis. You need to be Federer. You need to be Tiger. But come on, guys, they be worried about the wrong thing. But I ain't worried about Zeke. Zeke gonna eat. Zeke go eat. You heard what he said. We all go eat. And if you're smart, you'll see a lot more of this and a little less of that.
Okay. So, I loved what Ezekiel Elliott said. I loved that he responded to Ed Werder and others saying, uh-oh, for Zeke. And I loved how he responded because it wasn't an I tweet. It was a we tweet.
We all go
It was a team tweet, right? And I love that about Zeke. This is all for one and one for all. And he said, we all going to capital EAT, which means it's a big old scoop for everybody, big old scoop. And so my first vision was, you know, Downton Abbey, you know, the tables, they have the long dining tables in the big dining rooms. You know, that one, I don't know Downton Abbey, the series, but I did watch the movie because Ernestine wanted to see it. And they got those long ones where you know, the husband and wife sit like 5 miles from each other. But you got all kinds of people. That's how big the Cowboy table could be this year. There's plenty of room at that table for everybody. And if you look back in history, there have been 5 times that teams had 3,000-yard receivers. But in 2 of those years, The running back also had 1,000+ yards. You got 04 Peyton team in Indy with Edgerrin James. He went for 1,000, and obviously
he went for 1,500.
1,500, yeah. And you obviously you had three. You had Reggie Wayne,
Marvin Harrison, and Brandon Stokely.
And Brandon Stokely, whom you played with at Baltimore,
yep.
right? Those are three pretty good options, I would say, right? Brandon Stokely out of the slot, he was really good. Okay, so that team did go 12-4. Now, it got Belichick in the playoffs. That was when Belichick was at his best.
Oh, he's at his best.
Well, that was when he was still Bill Belichick, defensive genius. And that was 20-3 in the second round of the play, in the divisional round, okay? So that was pretty impressive. You also have the 1995 Atlanta Falcons. I don't know if you remember that team.
I don't.
With Terrence Mathis.
Terrence Mathis, okay.
And who else was on that team? Let's see. Eric Metcalf and Emmanuel were on that team. Okay. So Ironhead Hayward, he got 1,000, and they all got 1,000. That was the 9-17 that lost the wild card game at Lambeau. Okay, not bad. So can you win the Super Bowl with this formula? I'd say you still could. With the Dallas team this year, it's going to go as the defense goes, and it's beefed up. They've added a lot of, I think, quality veteran. Sort of anchors to the defensive line.
Maybe it's a run and shoots team. I was thinking Detroit. Yeah. But maybe the Houston teams with that run and shoot. Hayward Jeffries, Ernest Gibbons, Curdy Duncan. Maybe they did it once upon a time, Skip. The Cowboys came close last year. Ray McCobb had 872, and you had two guys that over 1,100. So
828.
828. So they were
172 short of having three.
Right. So
and Zeke went for 1,300.
So you were close.
Very close.
But what did it get you, Skip?
It got me home for the playoffs.
It got you 8-8.
Yep.
It got you 8-8.
It finally got me out from under Jason Garrett. I'll take that.
So but you see, Dak Prescott is not happy that y'all got rid of Jason Garrett.
I don't get that.
Yeah, I get it.
I lost an ounce of respect for Dak on that one, too. What are you thinking? So the point is, I do think they have high potential to have 3,000-yarders, and I do think Zeke is going to be given the chances to eat.
Right.
He was given the chances to eat last year, and he couldn't eat.
But you have to understand, Skip, Mike McCarthy has only had Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. If you look at the running backs, Ahman Green, Eddie Lacy, I forget the other guy, but that's not Zeke. And are you saying that if you're going to tell me that Dak Prescott is Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, okay, throw away. Okay. But you look what he got in the backfield, Skip. That's a 2-time rushing champ. And probably would have been a 3-time rushing champ had he not missed those 6 games his second year.
But I'm going to reiterate my least favorite stat for the Dallas Cowboy offense last year. Ezekiel Elliott had the second most first down carries in the National Football League, and his average yards per carry on first down ranked 19th. Do the math. 2nd and 11, 2nd and 10, 2nd and 9, 2nd and 11. You're going nowhere slowly because you can't get a yard on first down.
But don't you think Mike McCarthy will have a little more creativity on first down runs than what they displayed last year? Skip, you just can't turn around, put the guy in the I formation, and just turn around and hand him the ball.
Yep.
I mean, what about some creativity? I mean, look at the 49ers. I mean, you think Deebo Samuel, the next thing you know, Mostert has the ball, or Tevin Coleman.
It's unbelievable.
Yes.
Yep. It was a pleasure to watch it because it was highly creative. I agree. With Zeke, they lean on him so heavily. They're so in awe of what he did in his first 3 years. It's just like, just hand him the ball.
Right.
Just let him.
He'll lean forward. Yeah. But Skip, it tells me the defense says we need to gear up to stop Zeke. We don't mind the ball being in Dak Prescott's hand because we don't believe he can beat us. We know what 2-1 eating. We know he can beat us.
So timeout. If defensive coordinators are saying Dak can't beat us, then how in the world could he ask for Patrick Mahomes' money? And why wouldn't you go along with Jerry Jones saying no?
I mean, hold on. That's what the players say. But Dak says, hold on. Everybody else getting that money. Pay me, Jerry.
Oh, you just pay me because everybody's getting it?
You paid everybody else?
Yeah.
Hold on, Skip, baby. So
that's like you going to your grandmother and say, everybody's doing it. She says, you going to jump off a cliff too? If everybody's doing it, you going to jump?
I promise you, when my sisters and them my sister was going out and my grandma gave us some money, me and my brother might not be going out, but we got our hand out. When you just gave Libby money, you better put 50 cents in my hand. or I'm going to have to go in your purse when you go to work.
So Jerry offered Dak 50 cents.
That's exactly what he offered him, Skip Bayless. When you know he worth $250 million.
Really? Okay.
No mercy.
While Zion has been impressive in his rookie season, much of the focus has been on his conditioning. As Dr. Brian Sutterer puts it, Zion is in a, quote, race against his own body. Dr. Sutterer also said he thinks Zion has regressed substantially since transitioning from Duke to the NBA, saying he appears less explosive, less conditioned, and slower on defense. The doctor also said, quote, I feel like nobody really wants to call it like we all see it. Shannon, how long will Zion's career last?
Skip, what have I been doing from day one? Even though it's very unpopular, people like, well, you're body shaming the guy and you're putting another No, I want Zion to have a long, fruitful, productive career.
But you're not seeing it.
But I don't see it. And he just echoed everything that I've been saying, Skip. Zion, Skip, at Duke, Zion was not playing 2-minute increments. He was not playing 4-minute increments. Zion Williamson in a 40-minute ball game was playing 35, 37 minutes. He ain't been nowhere near that. He's been hurt at every level. High school, college, NBA, summer league. Skip, what have I always said? If you limp into the season, you limping out of it. He goes away. He had a chance to get... Skip, he bigger than when he left. That's all the doctor's saying.
Yeah.
It's you again. Everybody always say, Skip, I'm my toughest critic. If you're a professional, Skip, it's you versus you. Because you determine the things you do. Skip, if somebody beats me because they're better, okay, I can live with that. But I'm not going to allow you to beat me because the way I train, or lack of training, or the way I ate, or lack of nutrition. Nah, he's at that level now, Skip. He have access. I can understand, Skip, if it's a situation, because, you know, sometimes it's like NASCAR. You got, you got the Bush brothers.
Okay.
They're at the front end.
Yep.
And then you got, as you go further back, Skip, you got guys that, you know, on a little small budget. You don't even really expect them to win races. But Zion, right, you got access to me. You just signed a $100 million Nike deal. You got another, you know, probably $8-9 million a year from the Pelicans, plus the other endorsements. There is no reason he can't have a full-time shift. There's not a reason Zion Williamson conditioning is not better than what it is. Now, to it, Skip, when you rehab, all you're trying to do is just trying to get the body back to point A. You're not training. And so he had to rehab. Limped into the season. He rehabbing. So he didn't get an opportunity to condition properly. So I'm saying after this season, I want to see how he comes back next year. Because he won't have to have any surgeries. He won't have to rehab. He will get an opportunity to train. But, Skip, this is, I mean, I don't see 10 years. At that size, I do not see 10 years. I do not see the player that he can be with that body playing 10 years. I just don't do it. I just don't see it, Skip. I'm sorry.
I hear you, and I'm about to go against my better judgment on this. I still believe in this young man, and he just turned, what, 21 years? 20, what 20. I'm saying. Yeah, he just turned 20 years of age. Still an NBA baby, still trying to figure his body out, probably still kind of growing into his body in a way. But he is such an athletic freak and such a basketball freak. I believe he can figure this out and play 15 Hall of Fame years. That's what I'm seeing so far.
At that size?
Not at that size, but he's going to have to reshape himself.
Yeah.
There's this rare wrecking ball power and touch in that body, even at whatever he is, 300. What he did the other night was just extraordinary. I sat back in awe because he did score 23 in 25 minutes. And for what it's worth, he was allowed to come back in and close the basketball game. And as soon as he stepped on the court, all of his teammates, you could just see their body language pep up, like, we got him back on the floor.
Skip,
okay, I got it.
Think about what you just said, though. You said he played 25 minutes. That's only half the game.
Okay, but by his standards, it's eternity, right? From what we've been seeing from him, these bursts.
Yeah, 15 minutes. Well, the 15 minutes the first outing.
All right, so the YouTube doctor, compelling points, all. And let's start with if you go watch his Duke highlights, this is the doctor on YouTube, compared to now, the difference is profound. In my opinion, his athleticism and conditioning have regressed substantially. He's less explosive, less conditioned, slower on defense, and already has had a portion of his meniscus removed. And as you know, that's the cushion in your knee. And you can go in. I've had 3 of those scopes on my medial meniscus. 3 times I've been scoped. But I've been blessed enough, I'm knocking on wood, that my surgeon, thank you, Dr. Glashow, was able to go in and take just a portion away. So I still have enough condition that I can still, knock on wood, thank you, God, I can still run. I ran for an hour this morning. I run a lot. I run outside on the weekends. I can get away with it. I have to ice I never miss icing a night. I sit watching games with ice packs on both knees. But you can get away with it having had this operation.
You can get away with it, Skip. You have Zion size. Can you imagine?
Okay, but if you have 300 pounds of force coming down on what's a smaller cushion, it's going to cause problems. So the catch-22 of all this right now is he needs to play his way into shape because we both concur he's not a spin class exercise bike rider. He's not a swimmer that we know of. Those are the ways you could condition yourself off the basketball court to lose some weight and gain some sort of, I guess, conditioning or just some endurance, maybe. Maybe. I don't know if it equates exactly to playing basketball, but what he wants to do is he wants to play his way into shape. Well, unfortunately, the more minutes you play, the more you risk your knees balking or barking or maybe breaking, right?
Well, guess what you can't do, Skip? You cannot exercise a bad diet. I don't care how much he play basketball.
You cannot. I agree.
I don't care. He can't play basketball long enough to outdo a bad diet. It's impossible.
Hey, I learned this in my early marathon days. When I was training, I was running 100 miles a week. Do the math on that. And I was eating like a pig. I was pigging because I thought, I can get away with it. I was eating desserts. I was eating everything
You
wrong.
were lean, but body fat was probably 25.
Well, it was not good. And it was way less than it is now. And I'm not running anywhere near 100 miles a week. You cannot outpace it.
No.
You can't exercise off if you're done. It starts, you are what you eat. So he's got to hit some crossroads of enlightenment. Of eureka, I get it. And he hasn't hit it yet because the best point the doctor made is that he had 4 months to start making positive strides. And to me, he's regressed. So he had 4 months, pandemic, hiatus. And they released one picture when they went back for workouts, and it looked pretty good. And I don't know if they doctored it or what. I don't know, because a lot of these teams release these pictures, and I don't think you can trust them anymore.
No, I don't either.
Right?
I don't either. No.
Okay, because now he does look like he regressed. So what did he do during the hiatus?
What didn't he do?
He ate. Right? And he ate the wrong. You can eat. You can eat all you want, as you well know, if you eat the right thing. You can eat 5-6 times a day. If you eat smaller meals, right things.
Well, Skip, I went to the pandemic, I lost 10 pounds.
You okay?
I lost 10 pounds.
You know, I saw a number of people do that.
Yes.
Yeah. In part because it could be stress related, or, you know, like you're cooped up and you're not going out to restaurants where you tend to overeat at a restaurant.
Right. But I think that for me, though, Skip, is that, and I can be 300 pounds. I mean, I'm sitting up here and I'm debating you every day. Yeah. My performance is not determined by my body size. His performance is directly attributed to that. And he needs to get, like I said, Skip, I'm going to say, you know what? This year, throw it away. Okay. You came into the season, you were injured, and you had to rehab.
And do remember, he did have a personal family issue he had to go address. Right. And he left the bubble. Right. And he missed all of the 3 scrimmage games. Okay, but he missed being able to play his way into shape, right?
Skip, you can't play, Skip. I promise you, if you sit on your butt for 4 months and then you say, you know what, I'm about to get in shape in 3 weeks, that ain't happening.
No.
That ain't happening.
No, I agree.
I mean, Skip, you remember training camps used to be like 8, 9, 10 weeks, and guys would play their way into shape. But not now, Skip, because then you hit the ground running. So you had to get in when I got into the league, you had to get in shape. You had to come to camp in shape because there was no dilly-dallying around. There's none of this what they got going on now. You have, you know, all this because this is a different situation. But I'm going to throw this year away. I'm going to say, you know what, Zion? You got injured. So you had to rehab. You didn't get an opportunity to properly train. But, Skip, starting when they kick back up, there'll be no excuses.
Yep.
He should have no excuses why he can't come back at 265 and says, okay, let's jump ball.
David Griffin, his GM, continues to defend him by saying, pump the brakes. He's still so young, and we have to let him slowly ramp back up. Okay? So
that's what's concerning. He's so young and so big.
Yep.
Big young people normally be bigger older people.
That is true.
I mean, that's just the way it works.
Okay, but I'm going to remind you, 23 points in 25 minutes was spectacular given that. I told you the next day, what if he ever got in shape?
Yeah.
What do you think would happen?
I hope that. I want to find out. I want to find out.
I hope that at some point, maybe you guys could have a conversation, Shannon. I mean, I know that you've experienced it. You understand the importance of it. I mean, who knows? Maybe at this point, got to make it happen. All right.
No mercy.
After clinching the #1 seed in the West, the Lakers came out flat against the Thunder in a 105-86 loss last night. LeBron was the only Lakers starter to hit double-digit points with 19, and the 86 points was a season low for LA. The Lakers also only shot 13% from three and just 35% overall. It was also the only game all season the Lakers never had a lead. Fox Sports NBA analyst Chris Broussard joins us now. Chris, how concerned should the Lakers be? Should LeBron be after that loss?
Well, look, the Clippers are 1-2, the Bucks are 1-2, and TJ Warren looks like the next Michael Jordan. So I'm not going to overreact to what I'm seeing the first 2 weeks in the bubble. So Shannon can relax. I don't think they're in trouble. All that said, they obviously aren't playing well at all. Let's start with the stars. LeBron is not playing well, and not consistently. He's had his moments when he really picked it up. Him shooting 42%, which is what he's doing in the bubble, that's uncharacteristic because he's usually very efficient from the floor. But I think with LeBron, like, he's the least of my worries because I feel like at this stage of his career, LeBron really is like, how much is he into quote unquote meaningless games? Okay. They already have the #1 seed locked up. The MVP race is over. If he was hoping to get that and hoping these games would count, these don't count. So I think at this point, he's looking at the playoffs, and I think he'll be fine. I think it's similar to in Cleveland his last go-round. Remember, they never had the great regular seasons you would expect them to have. But come playoff time, LeBron's a different player. So I think he'll be fine. Anthony Davis on this roller coaster ride is strange. How often do you see a top 5, 6 player in the league go single digits in scoring? It's just odd. That's a bit of a concern. But mostly, guys, it's the supporting cast and their inability to hit open shots. You saw Markieff Morris. I mean, nobody was within 15 feet of him on that highlight we showed, and he missed the three. They're shooting 25% from three in the bubble. That's worst in the league. They're shooting 39% overall in the bubble. Worst in the league. They're averaging 90-something points. They're the only team in the bubble averaging fewer than 100 points a game. So their shooting is a problem. KCP, Danny Green, both under 25%. Alex Caruso, he looks okay defensively. He's shooting 11% from three. So these guys have got to hit open shots. The one guy that's actually playing consistently well is Kyle Kuzma. Maybe that's a good sign, but outside of him, these other guys are just missing shots.
Man, you just told me I ain't got nothing to worry about, and you just laid out all those problems. But I got a lot to worry about.
I think they start hitting them. I think they'll start hitting them.
Well, I hope they
start. Shoot 11%. Caruso, come on.
I think the biggest thing for me was concerning is that the inconsistency in what I'm seeing with Anthony Davis. How you have a 34, a 14, a 42, and a 9. I mean, against OKC, they ain't got nobody that can stop you. LeBron is not being consistent. I agree with you, but they can't hit shots. I don't know what it is. I mean, maybe somebody put a lid on the basket. Maybe they need to go see Miss Rudolph and about that monkey. But something ain't right. I mean, how you go 5 of 37? 5 of 37, and a lot of these. Man, they're not even close. They hitting on the corner three, Chris. They hitting the sides of the backboard. They hit the back of the rim. I'm like, is that what you're aiming at? Because how you hit the side of the backboard, how you hit the back of the rim, and you in the corner of the three. Man, I was like, it ain't looking good. See, and plus, the thing is, you give that team that's going to be the AC, they be like, man, they can be had. Oh, they can get got. And you looks like it's going to be Portland because Memphis has stepped off a cliff. I don't see Memphis winning another game. Jared Jackson, their second best player, is hurt. So they look like they're about to go over in the bubble. And it looked like it might come down between San Antonio and Portland. But Portland got firepower. Those two guards can be dynamic. Nurkic. So Lakers need to pick it up. The Lakers need to pay. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. They need to play. They know they haven't played well. You don't want to go, I don't care what anybody says. You don't want to go into the playoffs playing like they're playing. Even though these games doesn't count, they've already clinched the #1 seed. I don't want to go into the playoffs looking like that.
Shannon, you just left out the New Orleans Pelicans.
Hey, y'all ain't doing nothing.
You left them out.
They ain't doing nothing. I hope we get there.
You're going to regret leaving them out. And we'll start seeing that in just a couple of hours here because they're playing at 10:30 Pacific time, right?
Yeah.
10:30 or 1:30
1:30 Eastern time.
Chris Broussard, I tried to explain to my man Shannon Sharpe earlier in the show that missing three-point shots is nothing really that new. Now, they haven't been shooting 25% from three during the regular season, but they have ranked all the way down at 23rd in the NBA in three-point shooting for the whole regular season. They're a poor three-point shooting team to start with, and they're an even worse free throw shooting team because they rank 28th if you take all the regular season stats, pre-pandemic, post, and then into the bubble. They rank 28th in free throw shooting, 23rd overall in three-point shooting. They're a poor shooting team, period. They can negate that because they have been, overall, the third best defensive efficiency team in the league. That's extraordinary. My hat's off, everything. I give you props for that. And that is led and inspired by LeBron James.
Oh, you see him on D.
Okay, all right. He has shown me that. Didn't really show me that much last night because that team just decided not to play last night.
Yeah, they shouldn't even took the floor with that.
And it wasn't that they got shot out of the gym by the Thunder. The Thunder shot 5 for 24 from three, so they only made 5 and shot 20.8%. But your team shot 5 of 37, so it's 5 to 5. But still, you never led in this game because your co-star did not care about playing last night. And I remind everybody that the Anthony Davis, who took 14 shots in the first quarter against Utah and came out on a mission to say, watch this against Utah. The Lakers psychologically own Utah. But last night, he took 9 total shots. Is that right? No, 11 total shots. And I can't remember any of them because they were all uninspired and forgettable. So, Chris, we did a story a couple days ago, reported from the bubble, that LeBron and Anthony Davis have decided to say no to shoot-arounds. The tradition, the historic tradition of game day morning shoot-arounds, nah, we're not getting out of bed, especially in the bubble. Chris, as you know, the bubble ride to the arena, it's actually a walk. It's a 5-minute, 3-minute, 2-minute bus ride to these arenas. So it's not that hard to go get up some shots on game day morning. And I would suggest it's time for LeBron and AD to get their golden tails out of bed and get to the shoot-around, if nothing else, just to change your luck, change your mindset, and feel a little better that you did. LeBron said after the game, we're going to put in the work. Well, you haven't been putting in any work in shoot-arounds because you're not going anymore. So I would suggest you better start doing something to defeat the contagious, just pathetic three-point shooting because it's rubbing off on everybody. It always goes from bad to worse. AD said after the game, oh, one of these nights we'll hit 25 or 30, or I'm sorry, 20 or 25. But still, maybe they will one of these nights. But in general, you're a poor three-point shooting team, and you lost Avery Bradley, who's one of your more clutch, dependable three-point shooters and obviously defensive aces. So you better try to figure out how to break the contagion down in the bubble, so to speak.
Yeah, the interesting thing with them, if you look at their roster, they've got guys that get streaky from three-point land, right? but none of them are really great. Danny Green can get hot. We know that. We've seen that in the finals in the past. But Danny can also be very cold from three.
Trust me.
KCP.
Yeah.
Right. You know that,
I
right?
know.
With the Spurs. All of their guys, like there's not a Kyle Korver or, certainly not a Klay Thompson, but a guy that you know it's automatic. He's hitting it from three. They've got guys that are streaky. And Dion Waiters, I've liked a lot of what I've seen, but obviously he is throwing up bricks from three-point land. And again, I don't want to have to count on Dion or J.R. Smith. J.R. seems kind of on the outs as far as being in that rotation, but I don't want to have to count on either of those guys. Skip, I would agree. I mean, maybe make a change up. It's interesting because the Lakers clearly took the entire regular season very importantly and very seriously. AD and LeBron rarely sat out, and now they seem to be taking a different approach where, we just want to be ready for the playoffs. We've clinched the 1 seed and things like that. They may need to backtrack and just play hard these last, 4 games, and then go into the playoffs rolling.
But that's my only point. That's my only point. The shots go in, they don't go in. Okay, I can live with that. But that effort that they put forth last night, nah, y'all got to miss me with that one. I can't deal with that. That's the problem that I got, Chris. I understand that this is a make-or-miss league, and guys get hot, and like you said, they don't have a Klay Thompson that you can just basically say, man, he get that wide open, that's going to be automatic. They got streaky shooters. They got guys that can go 5, 6, 7, hit 5, 6, 7 in a game. And then the next game, the next 2 games, they might not go make 5 combined. We get that. But that effort, nobody gave a damn last night about that game. And that's concerning to me.
So, Chris.
It'll be interesting. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Do you think they will give a you-know-what about tonight, 9 o'clock Eastern, versus those scrappy Houston Rockets?
I was just about to bring that up. That's a great question because you can look at it several ways. Are they upset? And do they really want to show Houston that, hey, okay, we're don't worry about us. We're still the team to beat? Or is some of their confidence shaken? And do they go out thinking, well, if we play hard and lose to the Rockets, does that give the Rockets any type of edge? Does that hurt some of our guys' confidence even more? It would be easier to go out there, not really play hard, maybe play LeBron and AD half the game.
Yep. And
if you lose, you can. We really didn't take it seriously. So I'm really interested to see what their approach is. I would love to see AD and LeBron play and go hard, and this be a real game.
The Rockets feel confident. They've already beaten the Lakers. So they feel confident they can beat them.
Yeah, that's a good point. Good point. It'll be interesting to see how they play
wait a
tonight.
second.
Okay.
Is it possible?
I think Shannon's about to pick the Clippers with me and Skip.
Well, maybe. Is it possible that tonight LeBron and AD only play a half back-to-back because we're getting near the playoffs? So maybe that point and a half, maybe I should take that point and a half.
I think you should.
Huh?
It's more fun.
No. You ain't get no point and a half if they say they only play a half.
Well, I don't know. That would be the gamble on this, right?
No.
Maybe I'll take it.
Nope.
Nope. Oh,
Shannon,
somebody backed out.
Come on. Oh, my gosh. At this point, Chris, we
might
have
not
made
even play.
so many bets around here. Honestly, we're making up for lost time.
Losing track.
Always a pleasure to chat with you. Chris Broussard will check in, I'm sure, later this week. Thank you.
No mercy.
Saturday, 2 top welterweights, Jamal Shango James and Tomas Dulerme, battle for the interim title. The hard-hitting action begins at 8 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Current Raiders and former Cowboys tight end Jason Witten got called out yesterday by Austin Hooper. While addressing his own situation with new tight end teammates on the Browns, Hooper said, quote, "If people have questions, I will answer them. I am an open book. I don't try to hoard information. I don't like doing the whole Jason Witten deal where it is me versus everyone else in the tight end room."
Wow.
Shannon, some strong words there. How do you explain it?
I think that should be offered with no comment, Skip. I think he just explained it. Skip, now we've heard Martellus Bennett say that he respects Jason Witten, but he did nothing to help me get better. He
used the word, hey, I hated him when I played with him.
He said he did nothing for me.
Yep.
And so for Austin Hooper, who I don't believe has played one down with Jason Witten, he's heard that from somewhere. Somebody out in that meeting room has said something very similar, if not the exact same thing what Austin Hooper is repeating about Jason Witten. Skip, that's not good. And obviously, to be an athlete, you have to be somewhat selfish. You have to do things, and you're not always, if you're married, the wife is going to have to take on a lot of responsibility because you have training, you have meeting, you have practice, so you have things, and so you become selfish into that aspect. But when it comes to information with teammates, now, Skip, this is not just unique to a tight end. We've heard quarterbacks. Brett Favre said, it's not my job to get Aaron Rodgers ready to play. We've heard Ben Roethlisberger say the exact same thing. So this is not new. But I felt it was my job to get the guy ready to play. Skip, for me, if I got injured and that guy's going to have to play, and I haven't done a job preparing him, some of my proudest thing is that when I left Baltimore, Todd Heap was able to go to the Pro Bowl. I left Denver. Dwayne Carswell House was able to go to the Pro Bowl. Byron Chamberlain
went to the Pro Bowl?
Byron Chamberlain left and went to Minnesota, goes to the Pro Bowl. Skip, I'm like...
Maybe you should have coached.
No. I got no time for that, Skip, baby. But Skip, this is not a good look for Jason Witten. For someone to call you out from a distance, Skip, he's heard this from somewhere. This come from somewhere, from somebody. Maybe it's a coach, maybe it's another player, but Skip, when you're around the league, players hear things that never gets out to the media.
I got the someone for you. Guess who sat in that meeting room for 1 year with Jason Witten? Guess who played for 1 year at Stanford with Austin Hooper? His name is Dalton Schultz. I believe he's a 4th-round draft pick of the Dallas Cowboys. Unfortunately, Austin Hooper just thrust Dalton Schultz onto the Cowboy Nation hot seat because everybody's going to turn to Dalton Schultz and say, are you the rat? Right?
Yeah.
You ratted out Jason Witten, right? It had to come from Dalton. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm going to do 2 + 2 = Dalton Schultz on the hot seat.
Well, you got two guys saying it, Skip.
Yep.
Martellus Bennett said something.
I know. I got it. So and I know how beloved Jason Witten was and is in Cowboy Nation.
Correct.
Right? I believe he was a little more beloved than even Tony Romo was, and they were best friends.
I would agree with that.
He was viewed, if I'm going to go old school, he was like John Wayne, Gary Cooper, like one of those Western actors come to life, wearing number 82, All-American from
Tennessee.
Yeah, Knoxville, Tennessee, right? And again, I like Jason Witten. I never loved him as a player, but I like him, and he stood for some good things, and he was a leader of that football team, but they never won with him. Right. And maybe there was a reason that he wasn't a transcendent leader the way you and Ray Lewis were in Baltimore. Maybe it was because of this. Maybe there was some insecurity operating beneath the surface where in the tight end room, he's just going to close down, close up. He's not going to help anybody. He's going to hoard all that he's learned about the game because he does not want to be threatened by any of the younger tight ends. And Martellus Bennett, drafted out of Texas A&M
in the second round,
that was a threat to Jason Witten. You can't tell me because Martellus is wildly talented.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right? Okay.
Huge. That's a huge man.
Huge man. So I was stunned that Austin Hooper just blurted this out in a just kind of a ho-hum routine interview.
Basically, he dry snitch. Nobody asked him that.
No, it just pops out. I don't like doing the whole Jason Witten deal where it's me versus everyone else in the tight end room. He was trying to say, I'm going to help Njoku and all the other tight ends here, right? Wait a second. And then he jumped on Twitter right after, if you saw this, because he was getting called out. And he said, bro, this is to the reporter, Calvin Watkins from the Dallas Morning News, who had tweeted about, it sounds like he got called out, Jason Witten. He said, bro, you really think I want smoke with a first-ballot Hall of Fame tight end? Hate how humor has to be explained in 2020. That wasn't humor. No. That wasn't sarcastic. That wasn't a funny ha-ha.
Right.
He just laid it on the line and called him out and outed him in the tight end room because I believe he heard it from Dalton Schultz that he just shuts down and shuts us out.
Right.
Okay.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
Skip, when you say something, own it. First of all, you're not a comedian, so why are you trying to be funny? Now, like I said, I don't know. He might have a wonderful sense of humor, but why would you try to make humor at someone else's expense in a situation like this? A highly regarded person. No one outside of maybe, like I said, in the football community. But no, like you said, he's held in such high esteem outside of the football community. And even in the football community, no one would, and even if they thought that, they wouldn't say that publicly. I think there are a lot of things that people might think about a particular player, Skip, but they're not going to say that publicly because they know how it's going to make that person appear.
Yep.
So you would never say that. So I'm shocked. And when I was reading, I'm like, well, huh? So I'm going back, Skip. I'm like, well, did they ask him something about Jason Witten? And Steve and I was like, Austin Hooper didn't play with Jason Witten, did he?
Nope.
So I'm like, so where?
They didn't even cross in the Pro Bowl.
Right. And so that's what I'm like, so where is this coming from? So you basically dry snitched on someone because you answered something nobody even asked you.
Correct.
Why are you so willing to help someone? Nobody asked you that. Okay, I'm an open book. God, even Skip, I would help, like, you know, Todd to be walking and say, Todd, on this play, what you got? Who the hot read? You know, I'm quizzing guys because if something happens to me, I get nicked. You got to go in, so you need to know. So I'm making sure. Skip, they took the guy. He felt threatened with Jason Martellus Bennett in the second round. Hell, they took Todd in the first round.
I know.
So shouldn't I feel threatened?
Yes.
Yes. But, Skip, my job was to get him ready because I felt guys, Mark Jackson was a receiver when I got there. I played the Z receiver. He helped me. He never, I was with guys, Skip, we trying for the same position. He told me the wrong route.
That's a low blow.
Skip, we compete for a job. It's cutthroat. Okay, I get it. I was like, I would never do that. Mark Jackson would help me. This is what you got right here. Okay, well, how did you know what to do right there? He's like, well, I'm looking at this. I'm looking at this corner. I'm looking at the safety. And so they'll kind of tell you the coverage. So he's helping me all the way. Another one, Gary Kubiak, offensive coordinator, good friend. I mean, we became great friends. Skip, he would tell me, he's like, look, it's going to be this coverage. You run this route. He knew I had no idea what the hell I was doing. He said, this is what you do. He said, we're going to get paid because if you caught a 20-yard pass, there was no salary cap back then. He said, hey, we're going to get some pizza Monday night. Dan Reeves, if you're a tight end, you caught a 10-yard pass or more, 20-yard pass or more, you got $10.
Not bad.
Hey, let's go get some pizza money. So he's telling me what I needed to do, Skip. And so I was like, man, you know what? Somebody cares about me. Somebody want me to do good. I'm gonna do the same thing. Carswell comes in. Chamberlain comes in. Todd Heap, anybody comes in. Rod Smith. Bro, this is what you need to do. This is how you conduct yourself. This is how you do that. The hoard information? Why?
So, Martellus, despite the way he was treated by Jason Witten, he has tweeted, this is in the past, even though Jason Witten and I never had a great relationship, he's the best tight end I ever seen play. And Terrell Owens told me to study him, so I did. And then he finished up saying, as soon as I left, I mimicked Witten a lot in many ways. And then he did LOL, like, look at me. You know, like I hated him, and then I left him, and I found myself sort of acting the way, you know, like playing, doing the things that Jason did on the field.
But I guess, Skip, and I've heard people in the corporate world says, you know, they bring people in and they want you to train them to take your job. Best man win. The best man win. If you better, hey, if I can give you information, but you have to understand now, I'm teaching you everything you know. I ain't teach you everything I know. No, I got to keep some of this information, but now, Jenny, you know.
Which is why I've never taught you one thing about how to do this job.
You did not.
No,
Not one thing.
All he told me is, hey, be you. He said, I've done my homework. I know what you're about. Be you.
Well, I've personally chatted with Skip about sideline. He's helped me, so I don't know about you.
Oh, you helped Jenny.
We actually chatted about it. So I don't know. Something going on there. That's interesting.
No mercy.
Tom Brady just might be getting the Belichick treatment from his new coach, contrary to what most people expected. Known as a player's coach, Bruce Arians said Brady is, quote, just another guy. He gets cussed out like everybody else, so it's no different that way. Shannon, do you believe Arians treats Brady just like all the other guys?
Hell no. That's what made Coach Belichick so unique, Skip. I've never seen or heard of a coach talking to someone as respected, as accomplished as Tom Brady in the manner in which Coach Belichick speaks to him. Now, Mike Shanahan talked to Bubby Brister different than he talked to John Elway. He can say things in front of the team. When I say publicly, Skip, I mean in front of the team. I'm not talking about in front of, go on a radio show or do an interview or something like that. I'm talking about publicly. Do you actually think Bruce Arians would say about Tom Brady what he said about Jameis? Well, hell, we won 9 games with him, and he turned the ball over 35 times. Hell, we can win that many without him. You actually think he would say that about Tom Brady? No, come on, Skip. That's what makes Coach Belichick unique. Now, I believe if he has an issue he wants to address with Tom, he'll pull Tom to the side, like most quarterbacks did with their established quarterback. You weren't around when Coach Landry had Roger Staubach. He's not talking to Roger Staubach.
Oh, I was around.
You were around, but he wasn't talking to him. He wasn't. Well, Coach Landry didn't curse. I don't think.
No,
so,
but he undressed, so to speak, in the when you were in a film set,
Yeah.
he took you apart.
Yeah. So I don't believe Bruce Arians, and I've heard he is a player's coach, but BA will speak his mind.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to see a scenario that he was talking to Carson Palmer at Arizona, or he was talking to a Peyton Manning, or he was talking to an Andrew Luck in front of the team like he would just some willy-nilly. Now, I don't see that happening, Skip. I don't believe it. It sounds good to make Tom feel like he's just one of the guys, but that was a unique situation because what Coach Belichick was able to do, he wasn't Tom Brady yet. I don't believe you can do that to a guy that's won 6 Super Bowls now. Just Tommy, what the hell are you doing? That's why we lost the game, because I don't believe you can do that now. He caught Tom the 6th round draft pick, and you can get away with that. You're not getting away with that with an established quarterback, Skip.
Which is why this quote hit me the wrong way. It rubbed me the wrong way. Because it felt like Bruce Arians was speaking with his ego instead of his head.
Exactly.
It felt like this is a coach who's been around a long time, coached a lot of great ones, Peyton and Roethlisberger and Luck and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
All of the, he's been around.
Yes.
Not been great as a head coach, but what's he won? 1 playoff game, if memory serves. So I think with...
Yeah, with Luck.
Yeah, with Luck. Yeah, okay. So the point was, no, I was talking about as a head coach.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Yeah.
Well, he was the head coach because John, what's the guy? He got cancer, Skip. And remember, he filled in for him, and they split with Chuck.
Maybe that was
Chuck Pagano.
Correct. So Bruce Arians does have a healthy ego. I've been around him. I like him a lot. He's fun to listen to. He's fun to talk to. He can really speak football in the way that you would enjoy talking ball with him. But in this case, I think he sort of leaped before he looked on this one, and his pride welled up, and he said, he's just another guy. He gets cussed out like everybody else. Bruce. You're talking about a man who just turned 43 years old, who is the clear-cut GOAT of your sport, and you are blessed to have him. And the truth is, he is as coachable a quarterback as has ever come down the pipe. I do believe that. And it came from his father, who taught him the right way. You listen to, you do what that coach says.
Yep.
And I believe that he will do what Bruce says, but I also think they're going to have a little meeting in the minds because you've made the point again and again. Offensive philosophy is a little clashy because one's no risk it, no biscuit, right?
Exactly.
And Tom is pick you to pieces.
Right.
So you're going to have a meeting of those minds somewhere. You can throw some deep balls occasionally, but in general, Tom wants to 3-step driver out of the shotgun. He wants to throw it to the backs. He wants to throw a little underneath to the slot, to the tight end on little curls, like he wants to pick you to pieces and go 80 yards in 12 plays, okay?
Right.
So they're going to have to figure that out.
The VA want to go 80 yards in 3 plays.
Yes, or 1 play.
Yes.
Okay, because his ego gets in the way, because that's kind of what he's been known for. That's his mantra and his trademark in the NFL is bombs away, right?
Right.
So to me, this was a little scary because, he does what I say. I don't think he'll do exactly what you say. He's been around too long. He's been too successful. He's won 6 Super Bowls in 9 tries. You haven't. Right?
And you think you're gonna talk to him just like he's a 2nd-year, 3rd-year undrafted free agent quarterback? No, you're not. You're not talking to him like, especially established quarterbacks. Skip, and like I'm saying, obviously he's as established as there is. Skip, there are times that John might do something wrong. Mike would get on to me. I just take it. I know that's for John. I take it. 84, what the hell are you doing? Is that as fast as you can run? He just overthrew me. That's all he did, Mike. You right. My bad. You right. I need to get on my horse a little faster, Mike. You right. I'm gonna go ahead and bite that one.
Okay, so I'm going to give you an example. If Brady misses a read or a throw in a practice just in front of the team,
Right.
and pardon my language, would he say, "Damn it, Tom, what are you thinking"? Would Bruce Arians say that
No.
to Tom Brady? Would
No.
he say that? I don't think he would say
No.
that. I just don't think he would dare to do it because you're talking about NFL royalty and Tom Brady. I just don't think.
Let me tell you how Mike Shanahan would do that. If John missed a read in practice, let me see that play again. How about that one?
Okay.
That's the way you could. That's what you do. You missed the read. Let me see that play again.
Or he might say, "Sharpe, you got to run that route a little harder." Right?
Defense, man, look here, BA, I get it. But there's a pecking order here. And even though Tom is coachable, the man got pride now. He understands what he's accomplished in this league now. The guys understand where they are. So, Sean McVay is not talking to Aaron Donald like he's talking to a second or third year player that's not as accomplished. That's just the way it goes. And you understand that. It's just like at a normal job. Somebody that's been at a job that's higher up, that's the way it rolls. You get it and you deal with it.
Okay, so my bottom line to this discussion is, if Bruce Arians decides he has to impose his will or his ego on Tom Brady, this will fail.
Yeah.
He will fail.
Let me tell you what you do, Skip. You call Tom and you're like, Tom, now I'm going to get on you in front of everybody.
You can do it that way.
Yeah,
I believe there was some operating with Belichick that way.
Yeah, you do it like that. And so, hey, because that happens. Because you understand as the established player, that happened with me at Savannah State. Coach Davis would call me and he'd say, home, I'm going to get on you a little bit because I need the team to pick it up. Okay, Coach.
Remember what Chad Johnson said? I think he's still Chad Ochocinco at that point. His first day as a New England Patriot was the first day at camp. Brady called the team together as a team. They watched the tape of the Jets' loss in Foxborough that ended the previous year in the playoffs.
Correct.
And he reamed Brady from start to finish watching the tape.
Right.
And Chad was in awe of it. And it made Chad say, uh-oh, if he does that to 12, what's he going to do to me?
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So that's the message sent to the team. Now, I don't know if Belichick warned Brady before the film session, I'm going to come after you.
Right. But the thing is, Skip, you can do that because guess what? Brady came in as a 6th-round draft pick. He didn't play a whole lot his rookie year. And so you can kind of lay the groundwork. Had Tom come in as a first-round draft pick, and he plays, he's not coaching him like that, Skip. He's not. It's just not. Just like LT, he's not talking to LT like that. Even though he's the defensive coordinator, he's not talking to LT. Parcells not talking to LT like that. So I get it, Bruce. You're the head coach.
Yep.
But you treat them all fair. You don't treat them all the same. What did Jimmy say, Skip? The guy fell asleep in the meeting room, and he cut him. So the reporter asked him, say, what had been Troy Aikman? He said, I woke his ass up. you treat them all fair. You don't treat them all the same.
Or Michael Irvin.
Yeah,
You just wake him up.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly.
No mercy. On Fat Joe's Instagram show this week, Allen Iverson got into the NBA GOAT debate and may have changed his tune. AI said, quote, as much as I love Michael Jordan, LeBron James is the one. Back in 2018, Iverson called LeBron the greatest player of his generation, but said MJ was still hands down the GOAT. So, Shannon, why do you think Iverson changed his mind here?
Yeah, why, Shannon?
Hey, yeah, man, you know why? Because he's seen LeBron James put together a resume. Even though he played in the era of Jordan, he played against Jordan. And Skip, you and I, we discuss this all the time. When you play in a generation, it's hard for you to see the generation before or the generation after is better than yours. You hold on to that, Skip, because you played in that era. So you want that era to be the best because you feel if I played in that era, that means I'm one of the best. But, you know, he's like, look at LeBron. Now, MVP level in year 17. He's on his way to his 13th first-team All-NBA, which would be a record. His 16th All-NBA selection, which would be a record. And so, Skip, when you look at it, and he says, hold on, this man with the 8 straight finals? Man, I'm good. Skip, you can evolve? I mean, why is it that if you say something, you can't have a change of heart? Why you can't have your John Q moment? Why you can't, you know, evolve and say, man, look, after what I've been seeing over the last 17 years, having played with that guy, having played against that guy, having been on all-star teams with him, yeah, I think I've seen enough. Yeah, that's it. We got a new GOAT.
Really?
He say, MJ is MJ. He said, but LeBron that won.
Really?
He said, LeBron James that won. That's what it is, Skip.
He is the one today, right now. Today, he's the one. But Allen tends to wake up, AI does, and say, you know, Kevin Durant's the one. Because for a while he was saying KD's the one. Out of sight, out of mind. But now AI is also out of sight, out of mind.
Don't do that, Skip.
He wants to be loved. He wants to be liked.
Bubba Chuck is a fine.
Yep. He wants to be accepted on social media. He wants to be back in the spotlight because he's been out of it too long. And the best way to get likes and get love right now is to say, it's all about LeBron. He is the one right now.
Well, he getting hate right now from across the table from me. So it ain't all about likes. He getting some hate, too. I see it seeping out your skin.
Somebody has to be objective when it comes to LeBron James, and obviously AI is not. So he's playing to the crowd.
Oh, my goodness.
He's preaching to the choir because he wants the choir to sing for Allen.
Can I ask you a question, Skip? Why is it that if somebody says that someone is better than Michael Jordan is hate? They're doing it for all the wrong or reasons that's not true. Why can't they have their opinion? Why can't it be true?
As recently as 2018, here's what Allen Iverson said about Michael Jeffrey Jordan.
Okay.
I love LeBron. I have nothing but love for LeBron. That's the best player of his generation. One of the best ever. And then he went on and on about what a great husband, father, role model, school in Akron, blah, 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 blah. But we're talking about Mike, okay? And he was doing it like practice. We're talking about practice. We're talking about Mike. We're talking about Mike.
Yeah.
We're talking about Black Jesus.
Yeah.
And he went on to say, there's only one Mike.
Yeah,
and
it is.
he is the GOAT.
Yeah.
And he has always been the GOAT, and he will always be the GOAT because I don't see anybody on the horizon who's going to challenge Michael's GOATness.
Skip,
it's over, the case is closed,
Skip.
and the door got slammed by The Last Dance.
No, it didn't.
Yes.
You do realize, Skip, in 2022, and like in 10 years from now, people gonna look back and say, man, you 2020, which means you a mess. That's what it's gonna be. So he evolved. In 2018, that's what he thought. But then he started like, hold on. This man at year 17, and he's still in MVP contention. He's still going to be first team all NBA with a unanimous selection. Man, I got to try. He had a John Q moment. He had a change of heart, Skip, and it's okay.
Did he call LeBron James the GOAT? No, he didn't. He just said, he's the one, dog. He's the one right now. Got to give it up.
That now.
He's the one right now.
You added that now.
No, because it's between the lines. It's screaming.
No, stop reading between the lines. He told you what he said. See?
He's the one.
That's the mistake.
Did he say he's the GOAT? No, he's just the one.
No. We ain't no reading between those lines. I don't need you to read between the lines. It's right there. What did he say, Skip?
One.
Okay, he said he the one.
GOAT? No.
The one.
One now.
No, he didn't say now. You keep adding now.
Now. That's
you
right. I see it right here now. I just wrote it in.
You added that.
The GOAT. He said Mike's the GOAT.
I just want to know.
One and only GOAT.
Why is it that anybody that says anything other than Michael Jordan is the best player all the time is the GOAT? Why is it that they're hating or not telling the truth? I just need to know that.
I find it offensive that people would even put LeBron in the same conversation for GOAT with Michael Jordan.
We passed him.
He went 6-0 in the finals with 6 MVPs.
So he only played 6 years?
No.
Okay, then good.
But those happened at the end of his Chicago run, and they would have kept her. He would have won 9 straight if he had. Yes, he would have.
No.
Or let's make it 6.
8.
8. Yeah, he would have won 8 straight.
No, he wouldn't.
And if he just stayed another couple of years, he would have won 9 and 10. He was highly capable. Nobody could deal with him.
Skip, the wheel was starting to fall off.
No, it was
Scottie Pippen was going to bounce, get that big payday. Luke Longley was gone. Steve Kerr was gone. No, they were not going to, Dennis Rodman was bouncing. It was over. It was over. He got his 6. He did 3 and 3. It was over. And in between, Olajuwon got them. So let it go.
He won 10 scoring titles to LeBron's 1. And in 1 year, he won the scoring title and he won Defensive Player of the Year. That's game over. I'm sorry, it's over.
Didn't Wilt tell you? Wilt said, look, I could have won more. Wilt won the scoring title, rebounding title, and an assist title. So stop this notion. I want you to stop thinking because someone says someone other than Michael Jordan is the GOAT, they're hating. Or they're doing it for likes.
I'm not saying they're hating.
Yes, you did. You just said.
He just wants to be loved. fame by association. Oh, I'll say LeBron's the one. They'll love me on social media. They will, and they will.
Okay, what
Would
about,
you tell me I don't follow LeBron? So
what,
what's he got? 100 million followers?
On 3 different platforms, yeah.
Okay.
He ain't got Cristiano Ronaldo got 252 million on IG.
Okay.
Let your boy borrow about 5 of them.
Okay.
But Skip, you need to stop this notion that if somebody says that Michael Jordan isn't the GOAT, they're hating.
It's not hate. It's just it's the fact the Red 23 was the mentally toughest performer in the history of sports. The fake,
what they got to do with the GOAT?
The fake 23, the one over here in purple and gold, is one of the mentally softest superstars I have ever closely observed.
Stop.
And we're about to talk about that in just a moment in our next topic.
That's not true. And we're about to change our number anyway. So we're going to get away. We're going to distance ourselves for 20. We're going to have us a Kobe moment, rest this soul. We're going to have us a Kobe moment where we're going to win championships in two different numbers.
Is that right?
That's what we already done that. Oh, we might get a third number. We might, instead of, because we did that, we did 6. Got them in Miami, 23 back in Cleveland. So we're going to finish this thing off at 23 in the purple and gold, and then we're going to go to another number. So we're going to get championships in 4 different numbers. Who can do that?
The Red 23 was the greatest mid-range jump shooter I have ever seen. He was cold-blooded killer.
Yeah.
The other guy can't shoot a lick.
He can shoot. We got a high field goal percentage. We shoot better from the 3. We got more rebounds, more assists, more points.
We didn't try to shoot.
He couldn't.
Of course, there was one finals game against Portland when he just kept doing this because he wasn't really a three-point shooter, and he just said, I keep making them.
You remember what my guy did? You remember what my guy did with the mask on against your guy when he was in Miami and he went for 61 and he hit those 8 threes?
No, I don't remember.
Yeah, you do remember it.
I don't.
You remember it?
Huh.
All I'm saying is my guy got how many? 30. Oh, and we done passed you. Got 100 more games with double-digit scoring than you. I mean, we about to sit that thing. Ain't gonna never be broken.
Millions of kids around this country for the first time watched the real Jordan on The Last Dance, and they all sat back and said, you know what? I got to give it up.
I want to be like
over.
Bron.
It's over.
I'm going to be like Bron.
It's all about
Bron.
the shoes.
Hey, but Skip, we not debating the shoes. We debating GOATism as far as player. I mean, LeBron James will go be LeBron James no matter what he plays.
Shannon, he's 3-6 in the finals. He's lost 6 finals. He suffered the worst superstar meltdown I have ever witnessed in a finals against Dallas. Against Dallas.
About to be 4-6.
So many meltdowns.
Hey, Skip, he had one meltdown. Stop saying he had so many. One.
He melted down against Boston before he left Cleveland. He melted down against Orlando the year before in Cleveland the first go-around.
Averaging 34, 8, and 7. He melted down, huh?
4, 5, and 6. Loss. Against Boston, 4, 5, and 6.
No, he lost 5 and 6. They lost 4-2. If we could have got it back to Cleveland for Game 7, you already know what happened. Because we don't lose Game 7, Skip.
It's good to get some MJ LeBron in there. And I like the word GOATism, around here. Very important. No mercy. Tonight, Thursday Night Baseball on Fox has Chris Bryant and the Cubs taking on the Royals, or you may see Jose Altuve and the Astros battle the Diamondbacks. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Check local listings for the game in your area. Devin Booker shocked the Clippers 2 days ago with a game-winning buzzer beater. It was Booker's 3rd of his career since entering the league in 2015. And in that time, he's tied with who else but LeBron James for the most game-winning buzzer beaters in the league. Shannon, is LeBron all-time clutch?
Yeah, but don't let Skip Bayless. Skip Bayless.
Is it my turn?
It's not your turn. No,
I'm ready.
My turn. Of course he's clutch. But people don't want to give him credit because people don't want the truth because it would destroy their illusions. Skip Bayless.
I'm about to give you truth that will destroy all your illusions.
Hold on, time out. I'm just trying to figure out, is 5 playoff buzzer beaters, is that clutch? Considering Michael Jordan only has 3. Kobe, the great Kobe Bryant, has 1. Oh, the Magic, buzzer beater, Chicago, buzzer beater, Pacers, Baby Dinosaurs, okay, also known as the Raptors, Can I interest you in that? Nobody else has more than 3. This man got 5. Might get another one this year and be doubling it up. So, Skip Bayless, stop this notion that LeBron James isn't clutch.
No,
don't do that. Don't do that. Because here's the thing. as time passes, see, time sometimes is a blessing and a curse. Because a lot of time when time passes, it gets an opportunity to shade what really happened. Because you see, no one talks about the buzzer beaters that he missed, only the ones that went in. You know, Mike had a commercial, Skip. You remember the commercial? He said, I failed thousands of times. Therefore, I've succeeded. But so, Skip Bayless, this notion that every buzzer beater, every time the buzzer went off and Michael Jordan had the ball in his hands and he shot it, it went in, is not true. Because in all he played, 15 years? In all his career, his playoff career, he only had 3. And my guy got 5 and still going.
I think it's my turn. So, all time, if you look at most game-winning buzzer beaters in a career, Michael Jordan has 9.
Yes.
LeBron is now up to 7, so I give you some credit for 7. But Michael Jordan ended 2 playoff series with walk-off buzzer beaters that brought down the curtain on Craig Elo and Brian Russell in Utah.
You did it again.
Okay? LeBron has never had a series-ending walk-off. Never done it in one playoff. No, I'm not y'all see. Y'all do see the truth, right?
You see what he did.
Okay, so let's quickly walk through the 7 buzzer beaters. I watch every LeBron game, so I'm a student of this.
Yeah.
LeBron went almost 6.5 seasons before he hit his first one. And I kept saying on national TV, come on, King, if you're the king, you got to have one. And he didn't have, remember, 6.5 years is a long time in the NBA. And finally, I'm watching one Friday night in January of his 6th season. They are at Golden State, and he hits a 19-foot sort of turnaround jumper at the buzzer that won the game. And I was like, way to go. You finally made one. Maybe it's a look what I found. If you keep trying enough, one of them is going to go in, right?
Oh, see, there you die. Keep trying enough.
Okay, then there was the shot heard around the world in Game 2 against Orlando in Cleveland. And they were down 0-1 in this, and it was a big shot, but it was just your basic catch and shoot. He didn't have to create it. Remember, Mo Williams just inbounded it, and Turkoglu was on him. And I'm saying, he's got to shoot it. There's no time. He's just going to have to go up and shoot it. There's no thought process to it. There's no decision. Should I pass it? Could I get away with it? Is he going to foul me and make me go shoot free throws? No, I just got to shoot it. And he shot it, and he made it. And then, of course, what happened the rest of the series? He shrank and disappeared. But that's beside this point. Okay, then he had the layup against the Pacers in which Paul George, remember, Paul George got out on him, and he just dribbled left-handed right by him and shot a left-handed layup off the glass to win the game. I don't know. Is that a great buzzer beater? Okay, I'll give it to you, whatever. And then there was the mad shot in 2015 against the Bulls, and it was a tight series. This is in Miami. Remember this? When David Blatt said, I don't want LeBron shooting the last shot. I want...
You mean he was in Cleveland?
I mean in Cleveland, I'm sorry. David Blatt. And what did he do? He called Kyrie's number, and LeBron, to his credit, was furious in the huddle. No, I want the damn ball. Call the play for me. And what did he do? He got mad and I love LeBron when he gets mad, and he went out there and just drained it. Remember that? Okay, I give you that one. That was a really good one. And then you've got the ones that you mentioned, the Jimmy Butler one where he shot it over him. That was a good shot. I give you that one. And then the Indiana shot, or was it the Toronto shot? Oh, it's the Toronto shot where he's lost. You know, he's way too far past the backboard, and he accidentally banked it in. He shot it so bad, it nicked the side of the backboard. No one tries to hit the backboard with no angle, and he got away with it, and it went in.
He tried it.
Okay, now let's get to the guts of the story. What stat is never kept, which drives me crazy, nobody keeps this stat in the NBA. How many deep threes has LeBron missed at the end of games when he could have just driven the basketball? I don't know how many he's missed, but it's countless because I watch every game. But he could have just driven the basketball because nobody can bulldoze, pile drive, freight train the way LeBron James can. It's hard to keep him from the rim, and it's harder to keep him from the free throw line. If you just send him to the line, he could win lots of games with free throws. He is simply the worst late-game superstar free throw shooter in the history of basketball. I'm not doing anything. I got stats to back it up. The worst late-game superstar free throw shooter ever. Do you realize if we just take the last minute and overtime of regular season games, that 3 times over the time LeBron has been in the league, he has led the league He has the 3 highest totals. If we go back to 2018, he has 22 free throws missed in the last minute in overtime. That was number 1 by far. 2007, 21. 2006, 21. These are leading the league. So 8 times in 17 seasons, he has led the league in last-minute overtime free throw misses in the regular season. That's outrageously wrong for a superstar. That disqualifies him from being the GOAT.
You know people saw what you did. Now, at first, they said buzzer beaters. That means not game-winning shots because it might be 2 seconds, 3 seconds. They said buzzer beaters. Then you changed it. He has no series-ending buzzer beaters. And this is what I told him. I say, in quarantine, Skip has really been working out because he can lift goalposts and move them at will now. He couldn't do that. But now he's been able to do that. Then you changed it again. You said that needs to be thought process in to a game because what he's doing, he's just catching the ball and shooting it. There's no thought process. So now he needs to end the series with a buzzer beater, and he needs to have a buzzer beater where there's thought process.
And I ask all those blind witnesses out there, how many times did LeBron James turn down the last shot because he ran from the free throw line and he made the quote-unquote right play by passing to somebody else? See Kyle Korver, Game 3, 2017 Finals in Cleveland. I think I'll let Kyle Korver shoot a shot he's never shot before to win a finals game. Really?
Kyle Korver has made over 2,400 threes.
Yeah, but has he ever made that kind of three? Did he make that three? No, he missed it badly.
Let me tell you how this thing works. A doctor has never performed a surgery until he performed his first surgery.
Oh, okay.
That's how it works, Skip. That's how it works.
To save a life?
We go to the trauma center. Sometimes that's his first time in the trauma unit is doing that.
All right, and then I say, see George Hill, 2018 Game 1 at Oracle against the highly favored Golden State Warriors, the Dynasty Warriors. LeBron's got him right where he wants him with Steph on him, got the switch. Just go up and shoot a 15-foot Michael Jordan-esque jump shot, and instead he passes off to George Hill, who's never been in that situation before, and has to make 2 free throws to win the game. You know what? 2 free throws.
Skip, it's something
interesting.
It just came to me. How many playoff threes to win a game has Steve Kerr made before he made that one against Phoenix?
I don't know. Probably several. He shot a bunch of them.
Oh, in the playoffs? Game winners? No.
I don't know.
That was his first one. That was his only one. What about John Paxson?
So what's your point?
My point is that you have a teammate, you pass him the ball. The only difference between Michael Jordan, they passed Steve Kerr the ball, he made it.
The Kyle Korver play, you got Iguodala dead to rights in the lane. He's going to have to foul you.
Why didn't Jordan take the shot?
He's going to have to foul you.
Why did Jordan take it instead of passing to Kerr?
Because they were all over. They were mobbing him. This was one-on-one on Iguodala in the lane. They were mobbing. He said, if 2 come to me, which Stockton was just running to him every play, all over him. He said, if Stockton runs to me, you're going to make that. He told him in the huddle, you're going to take that shot.
Hold on.
And by the way, I got to close my case. LeBron has made 7 to Jordan's 9. But guess what? LeBron has played 10,000 more minutes than Jordan played in his career. So again, how many more should LeBron have made in 10,000 minutes? You would think he'd have 14 instead of 7.
Think about this, Skip. He's played 10,000 more minutes. He's played another 2 full seasons, and he still hasn't attempted as many shots as Michael Jordan took.
I rest my case.
We're done.
I rest my case.
You guys, we go here.
Game over.
No mercy. Bills quarterback Josh Allen is known for having a strong arm, but the biggest arm in the league has often been attributed to Patrick Mahomes. That prompted Allen to say that he'd love to have a throwing competition with Mahomes to settle the debate over who really has the biggest arm in the NFL. So, Shannon, who would win?
Skip, I don't really know the point of this. No one is going to have use their maximum capacity, the distance to launch a football. I would take Mahomes, but only slightly. Because Allen has a powerful arm. I mean, both guys threw it about 80 yards in their workout. Now, Mahomes has said that he did throw it about 83 in a pregame before in college. In college, pregame, he threw it about 83 yards. But can you imagine if Patrick Mahomes goes out there and try to heave that ball and blow out an arm, fooling around who can throw the ball to others? Man, Andy Reid and would lose his mind.
He wants no part of this competition, not for injury protection, but he would get outgunned and outarmed by this man. Josh Allen has a much bigger arm to me than Patrick Mahomes. I know he threw it out of the stadium one time.
Yeah, you saw that, right?
Yeah, but I also saw those Madden arm strength ratings. Did you see Josh Allen got a 99?
Well,
your man's 97.
No, he should have a 99 too.
99 to
But
97.
what about Pop Gun? What about Pop Gun Tom? Yeah, talk about his arm strength.
Oh, so
he got a 10.
We're trying to change the subject because you know I got you on the run with this. I dare you, Patrick Mahomes, to engage in a throwing competition with Josh Allen.
We know Pop Gun, not Tommy Gun. Pop Gun. Pop Gun Tom.
Oh, you mean 6 rings?
No, Pop Gun.
That is all the time we have for Undisputed today. We're back same time tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. You guys are done. Have a good day, guys.